Hey everyone, it's Friday. You know what that means. It's time to deploy. I'm here by myself. Jim is on holiday, but that's okay. The show goes on, as they like to say. Hope you've had a good week. We've been very busy over the past 7 days. A lot of us just got back from KubeCon in Paris, France. And so would like to spend just a couple minutes here catching you up on some of the latest news and trends relative to Octopus Deploy. So like I said, we've been very, very busy. A lot of stuff has been happening. In case you happened to miss it, we did ship 2024.1 recently. Lots of great new features in here. You can catch a video of myself and Bob talking about this up on YouTube. So we have a lot of great new features, including OIDC support for AWS, Artifactory support through generic feed types, faster iterations through execution containers, greater performance because we've upgraded to .NET 8, and a whole bunch more. So if you're interested at all, you can check out our What's New page available up on octopus.com. We've had a couple of blog posts that have recently gone up online. This one's written by Mark, and that goes into detail around new support for external feed triggers. So this is something that we're introducing. The idea is that when a release goes through, it can be triggered based on a new container image that's been available or a new Helm chart that's been made available through one of your connected feeds. So this is basically, the idea here is that typically with Octopus, a lot of folks will do a push type model where you send a package, then you tell the Octopus instance you're connecting to, go create a release, now deploy that release. With this model, we are pulling these resources, whether it's a container image or a Helm chart, and then applying those accordingly. So this is more that sort of GitOps approach as titled here by Mark in this blog post. So GitOps is this idea that you can use Git as your source of truth and drive operations, logic, and pipeline through that mechanism. So a pull model is very, very popular in that sense. And so now in this model, we're allowing to utilize those external feeds and then trigger deployments based off of that. We've had the ability to do automatic release creation in Octopus for a very long time. It's a feature called ARC, or automatic release creation. And doing triggers based on that is similar in that nature, in the sense that when a new update is detected for a package, in this case, it's for an image or a container image or an external feed for a Helm chart, the same sort of application applies. And so Mark has written a very detailed blog post about this, about how this works and how it's being introduced. Paul's also written a blog post. So Paul got really busy over the last couple of weeks. He's cracked open his IDE and done some really cool improvements to our task log. So this is a common problem with a lot of applications. When you're logging a lot, when you're logging and doing auditing of output messages, those output messages can clog up your UI for a variety of reasons, right? If you're writing a lot of messages to the output, sometimes it can be hard to, walk through those output messages or even search across those messages. So Paul has implemented a bunch of features and working with the team as well. We've implemented a lot of features. So the main features are a fresh and modern visual design that makes it useful, delightful to read logs. Some performance improvements. So this is basically when rendering out millions and millions of lines without freezing. And then intelligent log rendering brings the most important messages to your events to your attention. So with these, he's also included a bunch of video files here showcasing what's new. So you can see here, this is an instance where we have log messages that are occurring at the execution time when we're doing deployment. And so he's also outputting the categories along with this. So you can now drill into various tasks as they're running and see the logs associated with those tasks and have it grow down accordingly as you're seeing those logs apply. So this is a new design that we have here. Performance for big logs. So basically with lots and lots of items here, you see we're up to 50,000 logs here and still scrolling directly through this. This is what I would call a greedy window algorithm, a sliding window greedy implementation of that. And so you can quickly iterate through these and show how these lines are rendered inline. So you can see that we have this ability to just simply page through the data, which is great. And so features like this are really, really nice. And then finally, intelligent log rendering is the ability to navigate large amounts of logs. And in addition to that, there's small amounts of improvements. So being able to copy links to certain log steps. So this is popularized by GitHub, where you're doing a source traversal and you can click on the line number and get a link to that. So we've done the same thing for that as well. Some other screenshots here of what this looks like. So showing log timestamps and categories, and then also being able to render these out as via copy and paste. So here's an example here where we're able to now copy and paste these log messages into the clipboard, and that turns out to be really useful, especially when doing debugging. So these and other features are really nice, and yeah, I think this is a really nice improvement that will help folks diagnose and debug their pipelines via Octopus in a very rich and meaningful way going forward. So that's great. Earlier today, I did a webinar entitled A Recap of KubeCon Europe 2024. Recently, we just got back from Paris, France, where we talked to customers about Kubernetes and Kubernetes deployments. And so this is a summary of what we saw, what we learned, what we heard at the event. We had a great time at the event and talked to customers about a whole bunch of things. I was showcasing some demos here of what's new in Octopus. This is very meta looking at myself, but there you go. And so if you want it, you go check out that on our YouTube channel. It's entitled Recap of KubeCon Europe 2024, and that's available now. Speaking of that, we also have some upcoming webinars in addition to the one that we just did this morning. So we've got Bob, who's doing his webinar on April 2nd entitled Streamlining Deployments, Lessons from Building a Paved Path for 150 plus developers. We've got Chips and Alex, who are doing a top 3 deployment patterns from experience. And then this one is incredibly popular right now. This is introducing the Octopus Kubernetes client, or agent rather. This is with Nick and Alistair, who are going to be talking about the new Octopus Kubernetes agent, and they'll be detailing what it is, how it works, and why we built it. And then further to that, we'll have the 101 as per usual with our monthly theories. And then finally, we've got Bob and Kit doing a session entitled A Leader's Guide to Kubernetes CD at Scale. This is actually a webinar version of our white paper, which we recently published. So you can check that out. It's available at octopus.com/webinars. Finally, don't forget to check out our roadmap. This is obviously getting updated with the latest release with 2024.1. You'll see we have some of the various items here in our planned tab, and also the ones that have shipped already to cloud, as well as those available as part of 2024.1. So all good things. Anyways, that is the latest for this edition of Deploy on Friday. Thank you for your time and attention. Feel free to like and subscribe to this video if you care to follow along, and we will see you on the next one next week. Happy deployments, everyone. Take care.